the nation should be protected. That question, my Lord, has been addressed in the introduction of our submissions in aggravation. My Lord, we're making a point that statistics of killings of innocent people have escalated to a point where Lesotho is ranked number 2 in the SADC region. And our government had to react to that rampant scourge of the killings of people, which perhaps, my Lord and Lady Assessor, explains why His Lordship is at pains to say the horrific manner in which the murders under the microscope were executed warranted that there be a state of emergency. Yes, my Lord, there was that state of emergency because the government has introduced various programs to stem the tide of these killings. And my Lord, we start with this case to address the matter. That's why we're looking for capital punishment. And my Lord, with the greatest respect, I have referred the Honorable Court to the case of Rex versus Leqhashasha. It is the judgment, my Lord, in the High Court. It was delivered by Chief Justice Leqhashasha on the 26th May 1989. The matter went on to Court of Appeal, my Lord. You will see at page 2 of our submissions. In Court of Appeal, it is Leqhashasha versus R. Court of Appeal, criminal number 7 of 1981. It is reported. My Lord, the point I wish to make is the manner in which the accused persons behaved in this case is exactly similar to what Mr. Leqhashasha did in 1981. He killed an innocent old lady brutally. And after he had done that, he left for Free State. Just like the present accused persons left for Klerksdorp. My Lord, he returned and pretended he was going to surrender himself, and he was arrested by the police. They pretended to come back purporting to surrender themselves, and they were arrested. But the point, my Lord, is when His Lordship was reading the findings yesterday, making reference to the hail of bullets which were targeted to the deceased persons, making reference, my Lord, with the greatest respect, to damage on the heads of the deceased persons, on their lungs, harrowing incidents which have been captured in the report. The court has no option, my Lord, to deviate from the judgment in Leqhashasha. My Lord, I persuade the Honorable Court, and I respectfully submit, you have no option to deviate, because this is exactly the prototype of what happened, and to which Leqhashasha said there were no extenuating circumstances. The matter went on appeal. The Court of Appeal, my Lord, page 2 of our submissions, the Court of Appeal confirmed, indeed, when innocent people are killed in the manner Mampua was killed, there would be no extenuating circumstances. My Lord, and Lady Assessor, I'm pleading The court will recall that when my witnesses were testifying here, talking of the way Radikon Joki was killed, being shot, his car losing direction and hitting walls, they were trembling. My Lord and my Lady Assessor, when the witnesses were in the witness box here, talking of the way Mutibe and Tumelonzan were gunned, with these accused persons running parallel on the sideways, killing them in that level of brutality. My Lord and Lady Assessor, you have no option of deviating from the capital punishment. These people deserve to be permanently removed from our society. And I've quoted, my lords, here is another critical component to which I would wish His Lordship and Lady Assessor to understand. I'm referring to the case of Leqhashasha because I need us to conceptualize it and enforce the findings therein to the present case, 100%. My Lord, when a person now wishes the Honorable Court to accept their extenuating circumstances, the first step he must take is to get to the witness box and say, I pleaded not guilty when the trial commenced. I now plead guilty because this is what I've done. I'm remorseful. This is the approach. His Lordship and Lady Assessor, they will find it in the judgment of Leqhashasha, because unless that occurs, we still move with the understanding that we are dealing with a stubborn person who kills, maintains his innocence, and does that. But their lordships in Leqhashasha were very clear that you cannot ride on two horses, the one presuming you are innocent and the ones presuming you are guilty. We've got to be certain of what the steps you are taking. So here, my lords and Lady Assessor, our humble submission is the accused persons made confessions before the magistrate. When they got to the High Court, they changed the lawyer and they looked for a senior lawyer, saying the lawyer who was advising them to make confessions was incompetent. And we had to take...
No, let's not take that line because no confession is...
Thank you, my Lord. Thank you, my Lord. My Lord, we are here. We have had a full year. I was looking at my record, dealing with a matter that could have been resolved in a single day when people entered pleas of guilty. Now they want to ride on two horses, guilty, not guilty. That cannot be. And my Lord, like I've said, I don't want to fall in love with my voice. I've referred the court to the case of Leqhashasha. These people must be hanged until they die. My Lord, in the alternative, if His Lordship and Lady Assessor are now saying we are Christians, if that should be the attitude, the alternative is to give them life sentence as it happened with Scott. I've cited the case of Scott here. And I'm again pleading, there would be no reason, my Lord and Lady Assessor, for this honorable court to deviate from the judgment of His Lordship Justice Muilwa in Scott. My Lord, I've summarized our views in our submissions, but I need to say this with the greatest respect. The motives for killing these people. Leqhashasha is being killed mainly because they are standing feuds in relation to traditional initiation schools. Leqhashasha is killed simply because who to wap up. He's just too forward. My Lord, just because they perceived him to be forward, they took a decision to terminate his life. Leqhashasha, my Lord, and Leqhashasha, by the time he was killed, his wedded wife was pregnant. She had to give birth to a son whose father had been killed some months ahead. And the society, my Lord, they need protection. His Lordship, I'm enamored to the way you couched it, to say, Mr. Mlapa, how else should the society be protected from people of this caliber? My Lord, the answer is in lefu. If the court is afraid to enforce lefu for some other reasons, the answer is in court. We don't need these people. We need to protect our society from these people, from their brutality, from the Gestapo atrocities they are committing. They must be permanently removed from our society, I submit. My Lord, a lady assessor. Why didn't this accused person inform us in advance that they were guilty? Why didn't they inform us in advance that they were guilty? It's because they thought we were playing. I cannot be part of the playing. This is why, my Lord, I'm pleading. That society needs to be protected. The families of the victims who have been permanently deprived of their breadwinners must see justice done, not only being talked about in the corridors. My Lord, Lady Assessor, the murders in these cases were premeditated and they were executed in the careless manner. The court must pronounce itself in terms of the sentence on how this situation must be arrested. His Lordship is told that they committed these murders whilst they were intoxicated, and therefore that level of intoxication reduces their moral blameworthiness. That is a fallacy. When they planned to locate where Radigonel was, looking for his contact numbers, looking for the contact numbers of the villagers in the neighborhood, they were not drunk. They knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing. And that eventuated in the horrendous manner it was carried out. How should this society be protected? My Lord, remove these 4 accused persons permanently from the society. I'm becoming nervous. I never planned to be so. But my Lord, Lady Assessor, the society looks up to you to find a solution. The society looks up to you to find a solution. My Lord, I leave the matters into your hands. Not unless there are questions. I think everything has been summarized in our submissions, my Lord. Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Before you sit down, have attentively listened to your submissions. And when you go through the judgments, you see that the court should avoid, taking a revenge against the accused when sentencing. The court should be very cautious when it passes sentence that it does not become emotional, and it should not be seen to be taking a revenge on the accused person. And it should also be careful not to be seen now to be, too, if I may put it that way, too emotional.
I understand that.
Because if the court becomes emotional, then it loses sight of the factors that it should consider, and then focuses on the society's opinion and things of that nature. And ultimately, when passing sentence, then it will be, or that sentence can be interpreted as a revenge or retaliation against the accused person. The way you are presenting your submissions, it's as if you are, pleading with the court to retaliate against the accused, and that should not be the case.
My Lord, I fully concur, but His Lordship, my Lord, I didn't intend to discuss the portfolios of the deceased person, but I'm now, with your question, my Lord, minded to remind the court that Radikon Lejoki was a journalist. Radikon Lejoki was a radio presenter of some note, a towering giant in the broadcasting. My Lord, I'm now reminded to tell you that Mutibe worked in Parliament. He was one of the chairs of the committees there. I'm now reminded, my Lord, to tell you that Tumel Lonzane was in a senior management of United Nations population, something, there is that body. My Lord, the public looked up to those people who have been killed. The public, I'm not even saying for a moment that His Lordship should be swayed by the public opinion, but I'm saying when His Lordship gets back to the chambers to consider judgment, he must remember that we're talking of personalities to which our citizens were enamored to. We're talking of people, my Lord, from United Nations, from people following news, bulletins, journalists, from people working in Parliament. There are a lot of interests, my lords, in this case. And His Lordship is asked not to flinch from firmness because of popular opinion. But the fact of the matter is, these people were loved by those people in the organizations they served. And obviously, His Lordship is under pressure now, in my view, to say.
The court is never under pressure. Not under any circumstance.
As the court places.
It's never.
As the court places. But my Lord, there are a lot of people sharing anxiety to find out what then becomes of these accused persons who have committed this heinous murder. My Lord, like I'm saying, it was never my intention to address you in an emotional manner, but it is my intention to advise the court to address this rampant scourge of killings of innocent people by the accused. My Lord, let me take you just to one thing, because it's very important. These people are never remorseful. They are not susceptible to rehabilitation. And this is showcased in their plan whilst they were in prison. They conspired to kill PW1. That means if their plan succeeded, I could not have let. No,
Yes.
no, it's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. They are charged now around February.
No.
Okay, no, it's fine.
I don't know who is charged here.
Yes,
I don't know whether the court
okay.
knows that.
Thank
the
you.
one is charged.
Thank you. Yes, my Lord. So, my Lord, I know even at some stage when I addressed you to refuse the application for discharge, you said I should not mention that. I'm not mentioning it, but the court must note it. I'm not mentioning it, but the court must note it.
For the court to note it, you must mention it. We get the difference. You have to mention it first, then I can note it.
Thank you, my Lord. So, my Lord, I only adverted to that issue to say the court should be disinclined to the viewpoint that there is a room for rehabilitating these people. They are not susceptible to rehabilitation. They have proved that. They have made me to spend a year here arguing that they be convicted, which was not necessary.
Wasn't it their constitutional right
To lie to us.
that they exercise to plead not guilty, taking their, right to defend themselves before a competent court and the presumption of innocence against them?
Thank you, my
Or
Lord.
in their favor?
Thank you, my Lord. My Lord, I was
It was
reading.
indeed their right to do so.
I was reading a legal literature. I think it was yesterday when I was preparing for this. I then discovered for the first time in my time of practice that planning to lie to court, to have the state incur expenses just to address what you know to be the lie, is something that should be taken into account to say there are no extenuating circumstances. It's not this one. Lying is not an exercise of a constitutional right to defend yourself. First of all, you choose a lawyer.
No, I'm saying we are here because they exercise their right to fully defend themselves in court against the charges that they are facing. That is their constitutional right.
Look what.
This court afforded them fair trial in terms of Section 12 of the Constitution, and nothing else.
But my Lord,
You
look.
may go as far as saying they did not plead guilty. Therefore, the court should take that into account when sentencing them.
Okay, now.
And that's where it should end. You should not take it further than that.
Thank
It's
you, my
enough
Lord.
to say maybe they've wasted cost time by pleading not guilty. Otherwise, if they had pleaded guilty, they would have saved cost time, and it will indicate that they are remorseful of their actions. That's as far as we can take it.
Thank you, my Lord. My Lord, just a single sentence. When they decided to lie about the police, to say they gave the police money and gold, when that was false, when they lied to this honorable court, to say they were forced to make confessions, to say that
Let's not go there.
Okay, thank you, my
I
Lord.
don't want to hear the word confession coming from you because there's never been any confession presented.
No, I understand, my Lord. My Lord, I, with the greatest respect, I submit the Crown has proved a case. The Crown has proved that there are no extenuating circumstances. Crown has proved that there has never been any indication of remorse from any of the accused. My Lord, I pray that they be dealt with accordingly. The judgments of Leqhashasha is there, the judgment of the Leqhashasha court is there. Thank you.
Before you sit down, Mr. Leah, I confronted Mr. Molapo about the actions of A1. You recall that the evidence of PW2,
Yes, my lord.
Sukhobe,
Yes, my lord.
which was corroborated by PW9, insofar as it relates to A1 and A2 entering Motibe's car through the boot,
Thank you, my lord.
and that A1 stole Motibe's gun
And shot at him with it.
and shot
Yes,
at
ma'am.
him.
Yes, ma'am.
What will be
My reaction.
your reaction to
Thank you, my lord. My lord, that is an aggravating circumstance. That is an aggravating circumstance to which I'm pleading that the court considers it in exercising the two options I've mentioned, capital punishment or life sentence. Thank you, my lord.
Let me ask you this other one.
Yes, my lord.
You recall that when A1, A2, and A4 arrived at Ts'ehla FM,
Yes, my lord.
PW1 inquired from them as to their purpose being there, or
Yes.
the reason for being there.
Yes, my lord.
And they explained to him that their plan was to shoot Radikoni.
Correct, my lord.
Then after the shooting incident, and PW1 further inquired for the reason,
Correct, my lord.
and A2 then was on his phone reporting to somebody that the mission had been accomplished.
Correct, my lord.
Yes. What does it say when it comes to sentence that piece of
Yes.
evidence, those actions?
Yes, my lord. That, my lord, is very critical piece of evidence which suggests that they had a plan to terminate the life of Radiconello, and after executing the plan, which had been hatched for some time before, after executing the plan, they then reported to whoever assigned them or to whoever they shared that plan with to say the mission had been accomplished. So they reconciled themselves, my lord, with the fact that we have carried out a common purpose for which we are not apologetic. And when the court considers judgment, it must make a finding that they were very proud of the Gestapo atrocity they had committed. They were very proud about the Gestapo atrocity they had committed. It's like His Lordship can ask me another question.
Right.
I feel like I need to explain some of the things to justify why.
Oh, you are free to do
Thank you,
that.
my Lord.
But before you do that, let me ask you this one.
Thank you.
You recall you took the court through the bail petition of A3
Correct, my Lord.
to the extent that he stated that he was cooperative during the investigation.
Correct, my Lord.
And to the extent that he took the police to South Africa and surrendered the guns to them. For the purposes of sentencing only, insofar as it relates to A3. Would you concede that it's a sign that A3 was remorseful of his actions?
Okay, my lord, thank you. Yes. A3 was remorseful there. He changed tact, looked for a senior lawyer, and started wasting our time.
No, let's not confuse issues. It's his constitutional right to have a lawyer of his choice, whether
Yes,
junior or senior. Let's not persecute him for that. My question to you is simply, can you agree with Mr. Mola for that, or the suggestion to you that his actions, i.e. taking the police to South Africa, surrendering guns to them, which guns made prosecution case, watertight, was a sign that he was remorseful of his actions. Shouldn't that be considered when sentencing him?
Yes, when His Lordship retires to consider sentencing, that should be interpreted as a cunning behavior. Not that he was remorseful. It was a cunning conduct because he had hoped by doing so he would have the co-accused thrown under bus and emerge a good boy.
So his conduct should not be taken in this way.
No, it shouldn't be taken. It was a cunning behavior. Thank you. It was cunning, my lord, because this is the man who had placed this co-accused at different places in the Republic of South Africa where he was supporting them whilst they had fled from justice in the country.
There's no evidence. Where do you get it that you are supporting him?
A2 was very clear that.
No, they said after their names were publicized
yes.
on social media,
yes.
They did not have enough money for transport to come to Lesotho, so they asked A3 to help them out.
Yes, my lord.
That was fair enough.
Okay, my lord. No, I can't take it.
You can't take it further.
I can't take it further. Thank you. Thank you, my lord. Hey, my lord and Lady Assessor, the court has heard me. Thank you.
Not yet.
Okay.
I don't know if you have consulted with the investigating officer on this issue relating to the firearm of Mutibe.
Yes, my lord.
Because it was lawfully, granted to him.
Yes, my lord.
He was licensed to own that gun.
Correct, my lord.
And as it is now, it still belongs to him or his family.
Yes, ma'am.
His whoever that might be. Have you consulted with the police as to who is the most suited person to now?
Yes, my lord.
Yes.
I have, and the most suited person to get that gun is the wife, Madineo Mutile. We have already advised that she proceed to apply for the license, and she's been vetted as we speak.
What's her name?
Madineo Mutile. She was afraid to get it, but the son is minor, so I advised that she take it. Thank you.
You recall that yesterday I was talking about the exhibits,
Correct, ma'am.
those two exhibits, and by right and procedurally, they should have been here in court as you are proceeding
Yes, ma'am.
until the court makes a
Disposal order.
order
Yes,
relating to them.
Yes, ma'am.
And you recall that I said the matter will be had on the 11th.
Correct, ma'am.
And on that day, the court will like to have those exhibits before court.
That will be done, ma'am.
So
As the court
on the 11th, so that the court make sure that we are the same exhibits, and then the court will make a proper order relating to those exhibits, but they should be presented here before court
As the court
on the 10th.
On the
three
10th,
of them.
Thank you, ma'am.
So the court should see them and that they are still there, they are still intact.
As the court
And then
please.
the court will make an order relating to those exhibits on the 11th.
On the 11th, ma'am.
So ensure that they are here.
As the court please, ma'am. That will be done.
Mr. Mlap,
Yes, ma'am.
do you have anything to say?
Just very quickly, my lord, just to start where the court ended regarding the exhibit. This one, my lord, as an officer of the court, I was simply wary for the court to make an order that the firearm be released to the spouse of Putin. I think it should be couched appropriately, that it should be released to the person who may lawfully possess the firearm, because there must be a firearm license before it is released. So I'm just saying the court should take that into consideration when it makes that disposal order. I have no objection that it is her or anyone, but I'm just saying the court, because if the court simply says the firearm is released to her, it's as if she can just go and, or the court can simply say, take the firearm without a license, and that would not be a proper order.
Yeah. Because normally, supposing Mr. Motibi had died naturally, the gun would not be taken from him. The family would now declare his death to the police, present the death certificate, and then present the heir to the police. And then the process will follow. Then ultimately, the heir or whoever is best suited to own it, then.
In fact, what I'm aware, my lord, is that when they apply, you actually take the firearm to the police, where the police will then keep it while the heir is being vetted, and depending on whether he has a license or whatever. But until he's then licensed, then the police will release it after.
I can see that that officer, what's his name?
Thank you for you there.
Who is that?
That's why.
Oh, no, this one is there. Thank you.
When I hear the word Ts'ehla, I recall a lot of things about him. But I've forgotten about them now. Can you just assist? What normally happens when in a situation like this?
May he come forward, my lord?
No, he may come.
Okay, thank you.
I've gone through the process myself,
You do that?
No. But my father died.
Oh, okay.
Leqhashasha. So that is what happened when you had to bring it there to the police. Then it is included in the firearm.
Then,
yeah, well, some of it, yes.
Yeah, no, that's the real one.
So, I think the procedure is still the same.
Okay.
Yeah. So it means because it's in the custody of the police, they would then assist when she's got the firearm license and registered. Yeah. Then it can be released for her with no issue.
You say, Mr. Span, I should commend you for always coming to court as an investigating officer when the trial commences, because from time to time the court will need assistance from investigating officers. Like the incident what Putu was saying yesterday that you should be promoted. That's another, positive thing for you that warrants your promotion. You're always here.
Yeah, it will be.
Yes. It's a good thing that you're always in attendance because issues will advance. I just want your assistance on that. When in a situation similar to this one, where there is a deceased person, then he has a firearm, what should happen?
Based to just say no, sir, that start the cinema policy. You be owner at Pfizer of Madua High Worry. That is a pal, Mrs. Live somewhere, yeah, and I'm a jalif. Was it to see him? If you had to get on with what lies application? Yet at that time it had used if I know one hour of money, license as junior will about fishes in California. I have a commissioner of police. I have to go away. Couple, I'm a method of way high. What I'm of a license you are. You be supreme as if this is we are not licensing guy. I have asked a half hour of fair license. What I'm it is a horror, as in as he saw who would dealer. That is true, as a registered one about the Bazos Regis. Men are great about the theatre as a as you say, Mazu, as a police, and really another city and a truck, Mola. The fact is true as a license. Yeah,
I understand.
Thank you, madam. I have no issue. The issue was just that I was saying the order, my lord.
I understand.
Thank you. My lord, I briefly just want to recap or on the submissions made by my learned friend, and especially in relation to the case of Leqhashasha, which my learned friend heavily relies on. And my submission, my lord, is that that particular authority is not applicable in the instance of this case. The reason behind that, my lord, is that yes, the High Court and the Court of Appeal found that there were no extenuating circumstances in the circumstances of that case. The court, my lord, will realize when the defense presented extenuating circumstances, the Crown objected to some of the facts that were placed by the defense to constitute extenuating circumstances. And what then happened, my lord, is that the defense in those instances then did not apply to the court to lead formal evidence to prove extenuating circumstances. So ultimately, when the court made a decision, the court said, I have no evidence whatsoever to rely on to submit that they are extenuating circumstances. Now, my lord, this is particularly different in this particular case. Yes, we have not led evidence of extenuation. And this is because those facts already exist on the evidence in the main trial. They exist. And we have presented them to the court. And materially, the Crown has not objected to those facts. And even when my learned friend now submits, he does not gainsay all that we have said in relation to the circumstances that constitute extenuating circumstances. So, my Lord, our submission is that, in contradistinction with that case of the first, in this case, there are clear elements of evidence that prove that there were extenuating circumstances. And lastly, my Lord, again, the court has already addressed this issue. This court must not be emotional when it passes sentence. And it is unfortunate, my Lord, that this is a task that is put on you. In jurisdictions like the United States, where jury trials are conducted, that is where questions of emotions would then come into play. That is why even in this jurisdiction, we don't have victim impact statements and things of that nature. Because the court does not use a jury or personal circumstances of the victims in the sentencing process. So, my Lord, my submission here, my Lord, is that my learned friend's submissions were more emotional than legal. He does not address the court on the legal aspects of sentencing in circumstances and facts of this case. And our submission, my Lord, is that for all intents and purposes, the accused persons have a constitutional right to defend themselves. And it can never, my Lord, be something against them when they now lose the case or they are convicted, for a court to say, well, I shouldn't have gone through this process. Otherwise, then there will not even be a need for the justice system. Even your lordship's work would not, if all people would come here and say, well, we are pleading guilty it is expected that in certain circumstances, especially in matters of such a nature, my Lord, where capital punishment is involved, that automatically a person will come and plead guilty. In fact, in certain circumstances, my Lord, where even an accused pleads guilty in a capital punishment, the court would say, no, I hear you are pleading guilty, but still, I will not endorse that plea guilty. Let the Crown lead evidence. So that is the justice system, because, my Lord, this question of sentencing and conviction rests upon your shoulders. Of course, assisted by the assessors, my Lord, in determining the factual aspect, not the legal aspects. So here, my Lord, as we are indicating, we are dealing with legal issues, legal issues in circumstances where we are saying, and we are submit, my Lord, that extenuating circumstances exist. And we submit, my Lord, that therefore capital punishment would not be appropriate. Contrary to what my learned friend is submitting and stressing, and saying we should follow the Leqhashasha case. That is our submission, my Lord. The Leqhashasha case is not applicable in this case, my Lord. And we submit, my Lord, that you should consider our submissions where extenuating circumstances exist. And of course, my Lord, we submit that the question of remorse by itself, my Lord, and fortunately, my Lord, in the findings of this court, in its judgment, there is nowhere where this court says that, well, these accused persons did not conduct themselves in such a manner that I say that their stories are incredible. No. Yes, what the court said is, well, their statements or their evidence may not be probable. So I'm just saying, my Lord, it is not a situation where the court says the evidence was incredible, it was a total lie or total fabrication. in their evidence. That is not what the court said. No. It balanced the evidence and scrutinized the evidence and then came to a conclusion that, well, the evidence of the accused is not probable, as would be required in terms of the law. Those are our submissions as the court. Thank you. And he should be happy with today.
Thank you, sir. This matter is postponed to next week, Thursday, the 11th of December 2025, for sentencing at 9:30 in the morning.
Le wena e tlisetswa go bekeng e tlang ka wa go pa 11 gore le gotla tla le fana ka go
The 11th of December.
ka di 11 tsa December.
Quarter, Jan.